Nah. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of One Stop Podcast. We're going to go over what happened this past weekend with NBA playoff games, some rumors that are happening right now as we speak. So let's just get into it. We're going to start off first with the Nuggets getting swept by the Suns. Pravad's been wanting to talk about this, so we're going to let him lead it off.
Oof. All right. I want to say, fellas, I'm on a hot streak right now. This is my second hot take that I've gotten right. That's 2 in a row. Nuggets got swept. I'm feeling good. So we're on the come up. We're on the come up right now. But all right. Oof. I want to get into this, man. That Jokic ejection, that might have been the worst thing I've seen in the playoffs in recent years. Like, that was just – it's horrible. It was so bad. I know they're down 3-0 and the series is pretty much over, but it's the MVP. And honestly, I don't even think he hit him. Did you guys see him hit his face? Because Payne was on the ground grabbing his face.
He got a little hit on him.
He got hit in the nose. He got hit in the nose.
It wasn't like bad hit, but there's some contact.
I just play on the ball, and then I thought it was just like, oh, it's a flagrant one maybe. And they ejected him in a close game. I don't know, man. I was upset. I was not happy last night about it.
I'm going to play the devil's advocate. I can see why he got ejected. Okay. He barely did hit him, but he still hit him in the face. And everything around the face, always a bigger deal than what it really is. Like, you get hit higher up, it's always a flagrant one. But I looked up what the difference between flagrant 1 and 2 is. Flagrant 1, unnecessary contact committed by a player against an opponent. Flagrant 2 is unnecessary and excessive. It might have been excessive from the windup. He came from pretty far back. So I can see why they ejected him. I could see why they may not have ejected him, but it was a tough call. The Suns looked dangerous. The Malone called Chris Paul in his post-game interview arguably the best point guard ever.
We're gonna get into that.
There's a lot of things about last night.
There's a lot of good point guards, but he's up there. Sure, he's arguably one of the best, I think. But Devin Booker's insane.
Yeah. So first, starting with the ejection, I thought it was a horrible call. Yeah, it was a close game, and yeah, they were down 3. Maybe the official said, "Oh, this game's already over, and like doesn't matter if we eject them or not. Let's just eject them." Maybe that went through the officials' minds. Who knows? But the windup was pretty significant because he did pull his arm pretty far back, and I think Cameron Payne kind of sold it a little bit as well. Like he has been this whole postseason when he got hurt. But my thing is Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Curry, Harden, Giannis, if they were to pull something like that, they're not getting ejected, not one bit. So I think it's Jokic still not getting that proper respect that he's so deservingly earned as the MVP. Because if you're the MVP, you don't get ejected like that, especially in a close game, a close closeout game, especially when you're at home. So I thought it was wrongful ejection. It's good, hard-nosed playoff basketball. I get what the league's trying to do to protect players from concussions and any type of like head incidents. But yeah, it was a wrong call. I think it was a horrible call. But let's go into that Mike Malone, Chris Paul take of him being arguably one of the greatest. I think yes, he is one of the greatest. I think he's top 10, not top 5 yet. Yeah. If he went to because he has all the accolades except an MVP, a Finals MVP and a trophy and a Finals trophy. So if he gets 2 of those, then yes, he's top. If he gets one, if he gets a trophy, if he gets the Finals trophy, he's top 5 without a doubt. Because Magic Johnson's not getting touched at all. No one's touching Magic. The only one who I think can have a chance is Steph Curry. And even still, there's still a long shot from that. But he's not even. I don't think he's not greater than Isaiah Thomas. I don't think he's greater than Gary Payton.
You think he's better than Steve Nash?
Yes. Just resumes, because Steve Nash, they both. I think he's up there with Steve Nash. He's up there with Steve.
I think they're almost the same.
I think they're equal. If he gets to the Finals, then yes, he puts him above him, because Steve Nash does have those 2 MVPs above him. So you have to give him that. You have to give Steve Nash that. But credit to Chris Paul, master of the mid-range, because that's honestly what killed Denver Nuggets. That pick and roll and being able to get to that same that free throw spot every time. That little swivel dribble around, pull up right there, unguardable.
All right. Well, I just want to check. Did Mike Malone say one of the greatest or arguably the greatest? Because I keep seeing different things.
One of the greatest. One of the
greatest. All right. Then that's totally fair. He is one of the greatest, no question. He's definitely a top 10 point guard. But I agree with you. He's top 5, because I can think of 5 right now that are no question better in terms of greatness. You have obviously Magic, Steph Curry, Oscar Robertson, who does have a championship. Isaiah Thomas needs to be in there. John Stockton needs to be in there, no question. I think you could argue Walt Frazier, who's a 2-time NBA champ and 7-time All-Defensive. I think you could argue that. And then I would probably put Chris Paul 7.
That's fair.
Am I doing my whole 10?
Oh, you go ahead if you want. I was counting them for you.
I was just going to Paul, but I mean, that's where I would go. I mean, Chris Paul's up there, and obviously if he wins a championship this year, I think you have to put him a little higher. He's top 5.
3. I think he'll be 3.
Yeah. You think he'd be better than Oscar and Isaiah Thomas?
Yeah. No, I think he's behind Isaiah. Or no, I don't know. He'll be 4. He'll be 4.
Okay.
Because I got Curry number 2, and then I got Isaiah number 3.
Oh, okay.
What about Iverson?
He's a
shooting guard.
He's like James Harden. They're the one and the same, I think.
Harden. I don't know. Harden can go either way because he's a dimer like that.
If we're going purely by position, then we can't include Iverson. But if you want to put him in there, then yeah, Iverson's up there. But I have respect for Mike Malone acknowledging that, obviously. But Chris Paul's still got to make a finals. That's the big thing for me. Like, if you look at these guys, like I know Stockton never won one, but he's been to 2 and he lost to the GOAT. So I think before you put Chris Paul in that conversation, he's got to get to the finals at least to be there. So that's where I stand on that.
What do you guys think about what Charles Barkley and Shaq have been saying? I don't know, for like the whole season, that he's the best leader ever.
Oh yeah, not ever. I wouldn't say ever, but I think
now at least he's the best.
This season, he's up there with LeBron. No, I think I put him over LeBron.
I think so too.
It's him or LeBron, honestly, because Chris Paul is a veteran. He's an OG. He's been in the league since 2005, 2004, 2005. Mm-hmm. He's been there, done it all, except gone to the finals. But he's been to the conference finals. He knows what it takes to win. He knows what he has to do. So he puts the work in. He holds everyone accountable, but he holds himself accountable first. So, and that's what makes him stand out. Because if you're a true leader, you got to show that you're putting in the work so that the others can follow you.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would agree too.
I'd probably put LeBron as the greatest leader ever. I would think he has to be up there. That's just me. Can you guys think of one better than him? I would think so. I mean, the teams he's led to the finals, the things he's done. Can you think of a better leader?
I got MJ or Kobe.
It's hard to judge leader since we haven't seen everyone play.
Yeah.
Because like that's something you really got to watch. But you got to go with Jordan, I think.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you've seen like the stuff he did with his teammates, like he made them work. Like, he elevated them. He forced them to be better. LeBron, I feel like, I don't know. They're different type. They're different styles. They're
different leaderships.
Yeah,
Jordan was harder on his teammates.
They both do what they needed to do to get to the final. I'll say that.
Yeah,
you can see it in the Last Dance documentary when they had Rodman went to Vegas for a weekend and just like didn't tell anyone. Jordan just went and got him. Like, I don't know if you'd see LeBron. I don't know if anyone would do that and just leave the game now. But I don't know if LeBron would go and get someone like that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's impossible to say who's the best ever. But we got Bucks and Nets also. Tight game last night. Everyone's hurt on the Nets now. Kyrie went down with what looked like a pretty bad ankle turn. It was pretty high up. Harden is still out. It's just Durant left, who looked like the most fragile at the beginning of the season.
Speaking on that Kyrie injury, do you guys think it was a dirty play? Because, dude, if you gotta I don't know, because I've had this happen to me literally a year ago, where you know that the shooter's coming down, or when the player goes up and coming down, you know they're coming down, and if you're doing all you can to try to limit that space of their landing zone, whether it be accident or not, you know that they're gonna land in that certain area, and you're already moving towards that area. I think there's a code, and I think Giannis broke it right there.
I'd agree. I think it was a little dirty. I give him the benefit of the doubt because he doesn't have a reputation of doing that stuff. He's not no Marcus Morris. He doesn't have a reputation for being a dirty player. If anyone didn't know, I hate Marcus Morris. But he's not a dirty guy. He has the nice guy reputation. But it did look unnatural the way he just kind of stepped in on Kyrie coming down back. It didn't look like a normal rebound, like the way he would box out. And so for that reason, I do think it was a little dirty. But I actually said this last episode with the Suns, and now that you brought it up, Kyrie and now Harden, I'm gonna say it again, respectfully, it is over. They're done. The Bucks are winning it. Respectfully, it's over.
You called Kyrie, didn't you?
If Kyrie and Harden are both not playing, no chance. No chance they're winning.
Did you call 6 in the beginning?
I think I called 7.
I called 5. I'm way out. Oh, man.
I called 6.
Did we all take Bucks?
I think we did.
Did.
Crazy. Hey, well,
it's happening. It looks like
there's just no way. If you've got your second and third best player injured, you can't. I don't think you can beat this team.
But they Blake Griffin too. Where was he?
He's not the same. I mean, no. He's like half of what Blake Griffin was.
He got nutmegged and then dunked on, which the best highlight of the playoffs by far.
That was a turning point, I think, in this series, because that kind of showed that the Bucks aren't scared no more.
Yeah.
Okay, like, we'll play with you now. Because I think the first 2 games when they played in Brooklyn, they looked shook. They honestly did look shook. But now that they got that Game 3 win, and now with the tide turning, I think they're ready now. They're ready to go up against the bully, and they have an advantage. Honestly, they have an advantage.
If Harden and Kyrie both don't come back, I agree it's over. Because as good as Durant is, he can't win it by himself, and the Nets supporting cast just isn't good enough. And didn't we just see that Spencer Dinwiddie might come back for the finals if they get there or something?
Yep.
Which might be too little, too late.
I don't think that'll help either. Because think about how long it's going to take for him to get back in rhythm and shape. It's too much to ask for, especially after that. Yeah. Towards what? His meniscus, right? Or is it ACL?
I think it's ACL.
Yeah, he's done. I don't think he should come no matter what. It's a legacy game. Honestly, these next 2 games, the rest of the series is legacy for Kevin Durant. Because this is the first time since OKC, when after Westbrook went out after Pat Beverly did him dirty, This is the first time he's by himself with no other superstar or all-star. So we've seen LeBron. So this is where I think the legacy of Kevin Durant is going to come into play. Like, how good are you? Because we know you're a scorer, but can you facilitate? Can you get others involved like a LeBron James can? Because we know the dude's a walking bucket. He can get 40 anytime he wants, but can he get the 8 to 12 assists? Can he also get the 8 to 12 rebounds? Can he defend at a high level? Because PJ Tucker's been on him playing physical defense. And I think that's taking a toll from an energy standpoint off Kevin Durant.
But the thing that also comes into play is Durant's going to need like at least 6 minutes of rest. So what's going to happen in those 6 minutes? Like, who's going to score? It's probably going to – Bruce Brown is going to become the main guy probably, or Blake, I guess.
Joe Harris is going to have to – I
think he's going to play the full 48.
You think?
If anything, maybe 4 minutes of rest.
That's risky on his health too, because he's not like the sturdiest guy.
I think it's going to be a conversation between the two that they need to have. But I think the Hooper and Kevin Durant's going to acknowledge that and he's going to take on the task.
I think Nash acknowledged that kind of at the end of the game when I didn't understand why he pulled them out so early. I thought he could have played them a little longer, but I think he just was looking for the long term. He said, all right, it's not worth risking the rest of this game. He pulled Durant out. And I think that helps for next game too. Those last 4 minutes, they mean a lot in the long term. So I don't know, man. Durant, one thing is for certain, he's gonna have a heavier payload these next 2-3 games. No question. He's gonna be out there a lot more, and he's gonna have to get ready for that. So but yeah, these are legacy defining games for Durant. And with the way Kyrie's injury looked, like you said, Jesse, I don't think 3 games. I don't think he's coming back this series. I think he's done. I don't think he has the time to get back for this series, honestly. Which is why I say it's respectfully over.
Who do you guys think is going to be the one to step up for the Nets?
I'm going with Bruce Brown. I mean, he's kind of been doing it already, but I think he'll get like a much heavier load also. Joe Harris he's like the guy to do it, but I think he's more of just a shooter. Like, you don't really see him beating people off the dribble as much. I'd say Bruce Brown.
Can I say nobody? Can I say nobody? No disrespect to the Nets roster, but I don't know. I don't really see a guy that can really step up into that position and consistently get you 20 to 25 points a game. I think Joe Harris can score from the outside, but those are only on really spot-up shots. Like, I don't know if you're going to have like a James Harden, Kyrie guy. Their best hope is probably Blake Griffin. I think he's not completely out of his prime, and he was doing things good in his first year in Detroit. So
that was a couple years ago.
Yeah,
maybe we get Clippers Blake back.
I don't know.
He just takes over.
Yeah, I guess Blake Griffin, but to be honest, I'm gonna say nobody. I'm gonna say nobody. I don't know if anyone can do it on that team.
If I gotta put my money on it, I'm going with Mike James. Mike James, the backup point guard. Dude is showing he has a handle with the ball. He can shoot from the perimeter. He's a playmaker, so he has all the tools to be successful. We just have to see how him and Kevin Durant are going to gel together in the starting unit. But on that note, we're going to go to another great game that's up, the Clippers and the Jazz, Game 4. This is going to be a pivotal game for both teams because the Jazz don't want to have this game tied up, and the Clippers don't want to have their backs against the wall on 3-1. So what are you guys' takes on this game?
If the Clippers lose, the series is over.
Yeah.
And the only way the Clippers win is if Kawhi and PG both get 30.
That's
what I'm saying.
Hot take?
Well, that's what happened in Game 3. They 31 and 34. So I think they might even need to get more. But didn't Donovan Mitchell go out of the last game with an injury of some kind?
Still, you hurt the same ankle.
That could be – I mean, that's going to play a factor in it.
Injuries are coming up big in this playoffs. But, yeah, honestly, I think – because in my opinion, Kawhi is a top 5 player. You could argue he's top 3. I would put him there. But when you have Kawhi Leonard, who's obviously going to do what he needs to do, that's just the type of player he is. We know he's going to show up. We know he's going to get buckets. He had a tough game 1. Did a little better in game 2. Obviously, game 3 was the best of this series. But he's going to continue to do what he needs to do. I have no doubt about that. I think it comes down to what Paul George is going to do. Which Paul George are we going to get? Is it going to be playoff P, or will it be pandemic P? That's the deciding factor.
They're the same thing.
Honestly, are you talking like
so far? It's the same thing.
I think he's had a pretty decent playoff series this year. Outside of the first 2 games of the series, I think he's been good.
It's either regular season Paul George or playoff P. If you get regular season Paul George, he's dangerous.
All right, and I think that's what it'll come down to. It comes down to Paul George. If he can get 30, like you said, Michael, if he can get 30 a night, Kawhi's doing 30 a night, and then you have Reggie Jackson, who's come onto the scene as the clear third option, and all these other guys contributing. Marcus Morris is finally hitting shots again. I don't know how you beat that Clippers team. So Paul George is the X factor for me.
Yeah, Paul George was due for a big game like that after struggling for the first 2 games. But I'm going on the other side of the spectrum. I'm going with Bojan Bogdanovic to have a big game. Dude didn't really show up in game 3, so I'm expecting him to come up big in game 4. The first 2 games in Utah, he was shooting lights out, making clutch threes, timely threes when they needed it. He struggled to find his stroke in game 3, but I think today, after a good shoot around and knowing what he has to do, I think he's gonna come up big, especially with Donovan Mitchell nursing that ankle injury. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think Mike Conley might be coming back today too. So that's also gonna take. I think that's gonna take some pressure off Donovan Mitchell and the ball handling situation. But another X factor I think is that Ty Lue's been exploiting is starting Nicholas Batum instead of Zubac in the starting lineup, stretching out the floor, getting Gobert out of the lane, because the Clippers have been getting to the lane like fairly easily, and they've also been able to knock down threes. So you got to be able to take away one for them to not be successful. So it's going to come down to that. Can the Jazz stop them from going to the lane and getting layups, or are they going to stop them from shooting threes?
You know what surprised me this series, or about Bogdanovic in particular? I didn't know he was good at defense. Like he kind of locked down Kawhi in the first 2 games. I mean, you can't really stop him, but he was like a body. And I remember him not being like that great in Indiana at defense. Like he was kind of just there. But I mean, that's been good to see. And maybe I think that's why he kind of slowed down in game 3. He's like had to exert so much energy on defense. So I think he will find a shot more tonight. I'd have to take the Jazz in this game. I think they figure it out.
Oof. All right. I'm going to go oh, man. Jesse, it's too much pressure. Jesse, you go ahead. I'm too scared.
Oh.
It's tough.
Honestly, I think I got the Clippers winning tonight. I think that the way they've been playing when their backs are against the wall, they've honestly been showing up. And I think that's what the motivation to them has been, because when they have a lead, that's when they've shown like they squandered it. But when they don't have a lead and they're forced to play like good basketball, that's when they actually do show up. So I think them being down 2-1 is gonna play a factor, and it's gonna help them, motivate them to play even better. So I got the Clippers tying up this series, and it's going back to Utah.
I think it's gonna be really close tonight, but I'm gonna lean Clippers just because I think Kawhi is gonna have a great game tonight. I think he'll have his best game of the series tonight, honestly. Kawhi's always been a steady part for this team. He's always showed up. So I think he'll be there, and I think the other guys will show up. And like you said, I don't know why, but whenever their backs are against the wall, that's when they play their best basketball. And they've shown that time and time again. So I expect them to do that tonight. And I think this series is going to go back to Utah 2-2. So
it's going to be a good game.
Yeah. Well, one more thing we have to talk about in this Jazz Clipper series. Stephen A. Smith made what may just be the most egregious sports take of 2021. He said Donovan Mitchell is the greatest Jazz player of all time. I'll let you guys go first. I don't even want to get into it because this made me so mad.
Maybe in the future, but it can't be now. It has to be Karl Malone. Mm-hmm. And then next has to be John Stockton. Maybe he's third.
Yeah, if he
gets into the finals, I think he's third.
Yeah. I would put I'm not sure if you guys know Adrian Dantley.
I was about to say that. I was about to say Adrian Dantley.
He's a 2-time scoring champ and 6-time All-Star with the Jazz. He averaged 30 points a game with the Jazz twice. That's crazy.
I was gonna say Dantley too.
And Pistol Pete is there. The Jazz have a great history of players.
You know who else was really good on the Jazz? Darren Williams.
Oh,
there you go. Yes, Darren Williams.
I was thinking about this the other day too. Darren Williams.
He was
top 2 point guard back in the day from like 2006 to 2009.
Yep.
It's either him or Chris Paul. Yeah, I think Donovan he's not the greatest Jazz player of all time. I think he's probably one of, if not the most dynamic Jazz players of all times, because the dude has freakish athleticism. He can score with the best of them. He has all the tools to be that successful guy. And you got to think, when he came into his rookie year, he beat Russell Westbrook. He beat Paul George. He beat Carmelo Anthony. He took a game from the MVP James Harden in that next round. Come back next season. Who did he beat the next? He beat someone else the next season. He's never lost. I don't think he's ever lost in the first round besides last season against the Nuggets.
They beat the Clippers once, and then they beat.
Oof.
Was it the Rockets?
They lost in the second round to the Rockets after they beat the Thunder.
Okay. I don't remember who it was.
Wasn't
it Thunder and Clippers? Didn't they beat the Clippers once?
Who?
The Jazz, right?
No, they never. I don't think they never played. But the point is,
it was the Thunder with Paul George. My bad.
Yeah, that first year. The point is, dude has been off to a tremendous start for the Jazz, and it can only go up from here. If he can get to the next step to the finals, which I think he can, and he will, because he has a supporting cast and he has the coaching around him to do it. It's just gonna add to his resume, but he's not there yet. Too young.
No. If he wins, then sure. If he wins one, then you can argue it, but there's too many good players there. It's too many. Bad take by Stephen A.
Sorry, Stephen A.
That bad isn't doing it justice. That was horrible.
All right, we got our second game tonight, Hawks 76ers. This is game 4, right? Yeah. So it's still in Atlanta. 76ers coming off a big win. I mean, I've been saying it the whole time we've been talking about him. No one stops Embiid. Sixers series is over, I think.
I agree with you there. It's done. No one's going to stop Embiid. Dude's a walking 30 and 15 a game if he really wants to. Clint Capella is a stick compared to him. We saw what happened after Capella caught that lob, and then Embiid just said, give me the ball down here and watch me go to work. If he has that mentality going forward for the rest of the playoffs, which he's shown he has been, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. The Hawks are way too young. They're too inexperienced. It's just not their time. They have a great future, but it's not this year is not the year.
Yeah. I think the only way you could even consider the Hawks come out on top in this one is if Trae Young has a monster game, which we know he's capable of doing, but when you have Ben Simmons guarding you, it's hard to do that. So
it's not going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. I'd probably agree with you guys. Sixers should take this one pretty easily. But I don't want to write the Hawks off completely. It's the NBA playoffs. They always surprise us. We never know what could happen. But no, you're not giving them a chance.
They're gone. Go to Cancun, Atlanta.
They had their shot. They messed up. I think them choking in the third quarter of last game and then giving away the game in the fourth quarter is going to play with them mentally, because they knew they were there. They can play with the Sixers. They can. but it's just the little mental errors that's gonna divide the boys and the men. And
if I'd say the only way the Hawks have a chance is if they are shooting lights out from three. They have to outshoot the Sixers, and by a good amount. They have to be raining in the threes. They have to shoot above 50%, no question. Probably in the upper 50 to 60%, which teams can do now. So that's really the only way I can see them coming out on top tonight. They have to outshoot the Sixers, and it has to be by a good amount. But I mean, yeah, Embiid is pretty much unstoppable. So I mean, good luck, Atlanta.
I think the only way Atlanta wins is if Embiid gets hurt. That's really all I see.
Honestly,
like the
it's
Sixers
like the
are
Bucks in the net. The Bucks in the net.
Exactly. The Sixers look like they're built perfectly to beat the Hawks. They have one of the best perimeter defenders to stop Trae Young, and they have the unstoppable big, and the Hawks have no one to guard it. It's a recipe for disaster for Atlanta. So Embiid is playing hurt. Something's wrong with his knee. So there's always a chance. Obviously, we don't want that to happen, but that's Atlanta's win condition is Embiid's knee.
Yeah, I'm writing them off already. I think the series is over. I think the Hawks, they had their shot, they blew it, and I think it's gonna play with them mentally for the rest of the series. Embiid is gonna go. You know what? I got a hot take. I'd say this is gonna be Ben Simmons' breakout game.
Okay.
Triple double.
I'd love to see it.
Triple double.
I'm a big Ben Simmons guy.
Just go for it. Quadruple double. 10 steals. Go all the way.
I think, and I also say Trae Young is they're gonna contain Trae Young tonight. I think they're gonna keep him under 20.
Oh,
all
right.
I'd say around 20, something 15 to 25.
Yeah, I'd say 15 to 20 points.
All right,
he's gonna struggle.
Triple double, and Trae Young 15 to 20.
I like it, Jesse. I like the take.
Now we got some real NBA drama. We're gonna pass it over to Prabhat. We got some drama with Luka. You want to explain it?
All right, so grab your seatbelts. This is a long one. I'll make it short. So, as of this morning, a report came out that Luka Doncic is frustrated with the front office, particularly. I don't want to get his name wrong. His name is Bob Voulgaris. That's like his abbreviated name. I can't say his first name, but Mark Cuban has apparently hired a previous sports gambler and now a AI analyst guy who used sports analytics to try and draw up these perfect offenses. Rick Carlisle got a lot of heat for the lineups he threw out there in the playoffs, and a lot of the decisions and playmaking, we saw Luka get frustrated as a result of this. Voulgaris has had a lot of control over not just the rosters, but pretty much every aspect of the Mavericks front office, from drafting to lineups to playing time, just about anything you can imagine. And that's caused problems with Rick Carlisle too. And so Mark Cuban saw that this morning, and he did call expletives on it. He did call it cap in sake for other words. He did not agree with the story, but Tim Cato of The Athletic put that story out. So, as there's still a lot of speculation, but as a Mavs fan, the solution is simple. You just need to get this guy out. I don't know why an AI guy has so much control over our front office, why he's doing so much, but the bottom line is him and Luka have a terrible relationship, and when it comes to that situation, you're going to side with the player. Luka's a generational talent. He's a once-in-a-lifetime player. You don't get to see players like this that often. He's the best under 25 for a reason. So, as a Mavs fan, if we want to keep Luka, if we want a good future, Bob Voulgaris, he needs to go. You need to head on over to go to Cancun with the Hawks, man. Get over there. You don't need to be in Dallas. It's scary times right now for the Mavs, man.
Yeah, I gotta say, this reminds me of Moneyball, honestly, when people go with more analytics than watching the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not gonna like trash on analytics because I think analytics do play some type of part in results in winning. But when it comes, what winning actually comes down to is who wants it more, who's gonna lay it all on the line. And I think that comes with grit, and you can't analyze grit. You either got it or you don't. So I think this whole analytics thing, especially with the lineups and stuff like that, I think it's all wrong. With lineups, I think coaches, you have to go with the feel, like who's hot, who do you think is going to be right for this certain situation based on a traits of players' traits or the way the game is going. So I think I agree with you, Prabhat. If the Mavs want to keep Luka, which I think they really do want to, because Luka is a generational talent, he does bring in revenue with ticket seats, jersey sales. You're gonna want to keep him, so you got to get rid of the other guy. It's kind of like an Aaron Rodgers situation, except the front office isn't gonna get rid of the general manager, whereas I think the Mavs are gonna get rid of their AI guy.
They've got to.
They have to. You can't keep this guy and lose Luka. That doesn't make sense. But let's imagine Luka does leave. Where does he go? What team do you want to see him on?
You already know where my answer is.
Well, okay, let's do besides Lakers because that's your team, and I'll not do the Bulls because they're my team.
For being honest,
I mean,
Prabhat, we're gonna let you go first.
Yeah.
Is your guy?
Y'all really putting me on the spot like this. It hurts to even. I can't even see him in another jersey, but oof, that's
you want him back to Real Madrid, huh?
Ooh. Yeah, dude, go back to Spain, man. Just ball with those guys. If you're not gonna be with us, don't even be in the NBA. It'll hurt. just go ball up in Spain. Win another EuroLeague. But he's gonna need some shooters, definitely. And I think if he, God forbid, does leave, knock on wood somewhere. I don't know. It's got to be with shooters. I saw, and a young talented team. I saw Boston this morning. How deadly would that be?
I don't like that.
You don't think so with him, Tatum, and Jaylen Brown? Because they're trying to get Kemba out of there.
Jason Tatum needs the ball in his hands.
All of them need it. That's the thing for me.
I don't know. I think that team has good shooting. And, I feel like even if the scheme doesn't fit well, we've seen that superstars on a team at the end of the day do happen to come together. That's how it's been most of the time. But, I mean, I honestly, man, I'm not the best person to ask. I've never even put the thought in my head that he would leave. So y'all can come back to me in a second.
I'll go, Mike. You want me to go?
You go.
I just thought of a good situation right now.
Yeah.
Where I think Luka Doncic could flourish, the New York Knicks.
I was gonna say that.
Yep.
But let's hear what you got to say.
I was like the New York Knicks. Marketing, you're going to the Big Apple. You have a team of hungry young players. You got Julius Randle, who's shown he could play, but he's not the main star, but he could be a great co-star. I think that pick and roll between Luka and him will be deadly. I think Randle's ability to shoot from the perimeter now is going to help. And also I think comparing Randle to Porzingis, Randle's more of a dog than Porzingis is. He's willing to fight for his team. Whereas Porzingis, I hate to label him this, but I think he's soft. I think he's soft.
You won't hear anything from me.
I honestly think he's soft. Like, dude likes to camp out. He's like one of these modern bigs who likes to camp out in the three instead of getting your big body on the post and banging. Whereas Randle, he loves doing that. So I think that could be a great relationship right there. So I got to go with the New York Knicks.
I mean, Luka can fit in any team. He would be good in the Celtics. It's just not his ideal. And since we're just imagining, I mean, you could say the Heat for anyone just because they have that culture. Mm-hmm. But I would go with Milwaukee. If you can somehow get him, keep Middleton and Giannis.
Oh, yeah.
And then if you can even keep Drew Holiday and you just move Holiday to the 2,
Too much
I like
money.
it there.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, but we're not doing money.
Yeah, I'd like to revoke my previous statement. Forget I said Celtics. That was forget I said it. It never happened. Yeah, him and Giannis. That is unstoppable. It's quite literally unstoppable. I don't know how you stop that. You can't. It's the 2 best young talents. They would dominate the NBA for years. It'd be tough to stop. I don't think there's a single team in the league who could. And it's not just those 2. With the depth the Bucks have, and a lot of those guys are going to be signing long term. Oof.
The only issue with that then is Giannis has to learn how to play low post and like master it because Luka's going to have the ball the majority of the time.
Yeah.
So Giannis will have to learn how to at least some kind of mid range, like we were talking about the baseline fadeaway, something like that.
He's got to learn how to shoot.
But since we're talking about the Bucks, oh sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. That's all I want to say. He's got to learn.
We're talking about the Bucks. Yeah. We got some Mike Budenholzer news. Jesse, you said there's rumors that they could part ways with him. I don't really see the reason why. I mean, he looks like he seems to know how to get the best out of Giannis. I don't even know why there's rumors of it now. They seem to still be they're still in the playoffs, and they're like, go ahead.
I would say this is why, because they have the Nets on the ropes. So if there is a way that they lose these 2 games, then yep, he's out. You got to take him out because look at what happened. They had the lead against Kawhi and the Raptors back in 2019. Last postseason was a major bust when they lost to the Miami Heat. And now that they have the Brooklyn Nets on the ropes with Kevin Durant, only the sole superstar there, it's going to be inexcusable. So I think, yes, if they lose these next 2 games or lose at all this series, he has to leave.
I just want to say, we need to make that a meme right there before you started talking. You went, that was a meme-worthy frame. I like that. But I have a question for you now. So assuming they beat the Nets, because I think at this point, if Kyrie and Harden don't come back, they have to be favored to win the series. I would say so. But assuming they do move on as favored and they lose to the winner of Hawks Sixers, which is probably going to be Sixers, then do you keep Budenholzer or is he still out?
I ask you the way the team plays.
Okay.
I would actually say, thinking about it now, like that, because I don't know why I see why there's rumors now, but I think it's kind of weird that there's rumors when they're still in it. But putting that aside, I think if they lose next round, he's gone too. Because they've been to the conference finals. Like they need to get to the finals. That's what they're going for. He's been an MVP twice. Giannis has been MVP twice. They have to make progress. They took a step back last year. So definitely if they lose this series, he's gone. Because that's doing the same thing. One more round, I think he's still gone. But luckily for Budenholzer, he'll get a job right away.
My question is if you do get rid of Budenholzer, is there anyone you can find better than him? I don't think so.
Well, that's gonna come and tie to our next topic. But if you want to go into it already, it's more Mavs bad news.
Yeah.
It was looking so good for the Mavs a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so looking so promising, and now it shows that Rick Carlisle is showing interest in the Bucks' job if the Mavs were to part ways.
All right.
So we're gonna let you lead this one off since you're the Mavs guy.
Oof, guys, I am down. I'm down bad right now. The whole city of Dallas is down bad with all this news. It's looking bad over here. But I will say this: Rick Carlisle did come out earlier, and he did deny it. Now, I mean that's good to see as a Mavs fan, but I don't take anything at glance anymore, especially not in the NBA, because we've seen it so many times where one thing is said and then the complete opposite happens. So Carlisle said it's not true, or maybe if it wasn't Carlisle, it was someone within the Mavs, but I'm pretty sure it was him. I think he said it wasn't true, but you can never be too sure. And Carlisle's an established coach. I think he can definitely go in there. He has experience. He knows how to win a championship. He's done it before. So him and Milwaukee would be very interesting. It would make me very sad, and I think I would just have to take a break from watching basketball for a little bit if we lost Luka and Carlisle in the same offseason. I think I would just need a week off from the One Stop podcast just to gather my thoughts. But I hope he stays, man. You gotta keep it.
For me, I don't see the point of getting rid of Carlisle unless there's something going on that we don't know about. Like, unless him and this AI guy are like in cahoots and they're like, it's us against Luka. I don't think Carlisle and Luka will leave. If anything, it'll be Carlisle because Luka's not leaving. I don't think there's any way. But Carlisle and Milwaukee would be nice, I think, because he's done it with Dirk, who's like kind of like a freak basketball player, not like your typical, which is like Giannis. Kind of has like his little niche he fits into. So I think he could figure something out with him. And they've got shooters there. I think he brings some pedigree with him, so he'd get some more people to want to play in Milwaukee. So I think it'd be nice.
I have to agree. Yeah, if Carlisle leaves, maybe Carlisle can be that extra step, that next guy, because Mike Budenholzer, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think he's ever been to a finals. No, Carlisle's been to a finals. He's won postseason games, even though he hasn't won a postseason game since 2011. He still took his team to the championship on that magic run by the Mavs. But here's another crazy speculation right here. I just came up with in my head. If Carlisle does leave to Milwaukee, and they do decide to get rid of the gambler guy, whatever his name is, and keep, you know who I think could be a great coach for them? Bring back Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd to the Mavs.
Jason Kidd's linked everywhere. I mean, there's a lot of good coaching options right now. Terry Stotts is out there. Mike D'Antoni will probably. No, I don't think Terry Stotts is good for there. I think he's good for the Magic.
Team.
Yeah. But like D'Antoni's there. I think he would be good with Doncic. They would just have a nasty offense.
I agree.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of options. Jason Kidd would be nice though. That'd be like coming full circle. The best Mavs point guard comes back to coach the new best Mavs point guard.
Dude, that would be crazy. Like, just teach them stuff. Like, here's how to be. Because besides Dirk, who else has Luka really had in his corner like that? No one. So I think that's gonna play big dividends in the future if that were to happen. But for Pravot's sake, I'm hoping everything stays the same and they just bring another superstar.
I appreciate it
over there to Dallas, because the Porzingis experiment hasn't worked out at all.
Failure.
I appreciate it, Jesse. Thank you for the thoughts. We're gonna need it.
So that's gonna wrap up our show today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, catch us on Wednesday. We're always live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Tune in on Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Later.